Hello, Dr. Kriss.
Hi.
Thank you for taking your time out. So, I wanted to know, as a seasoned voice actor, you've done radio, you've done serials, you've done commercials, you've done films. How different is voice when it comes to doing these different areas?
When you take radio, it is actually the extempore nature of the jock which will decide what is going next. Whereas you're doing serials or films, you're time bound and you have a script and you follow strictly that. So that difference is always there. Being extempore, being yourself, that is what you showcase in being a jock. Now, when it comes to films, then probably you're doing that character and the character emotion is there. It's not you. You're doing that character. In serial, it is time bound that you have very little time to finish off everything. So it has to be fast, precise. So each one has its own pace, its own nature. Whereas I enjoy being a radio jock because it's being myself. Whereas being a dubbing artist, you're being somebody else. Dubbing for yourself, you're doing a character. When it is films, you have time. When it is serials, you don't have time. So there is difference between the genres, but essentially you're working on your voice.
And what preparation when you get into a dubbing studio or before you, because when you're shooting, you can always play that emotion. But when you get into a studio, it's a closed environment and you have to probably emote that emotion through your voice. So, how do you manage that and what do you practice before or what rituals do you have for that?
One thing is understanding the character well before you're dubbing, if it's for somebody else. I've dubbed for other people also. So when you're dubbing for somebody else, you watch that character, watch the movement, watch the scene, understand what the situation is, then start emoting. Even if the actor has not emoted, you can still add on emotions to a limit where his acting and the voice has to match. Now, if you're dubbing for yourself, then you know the character, you have done it once, you can improve on it, or you can lessen the amount of emotions what you have performed, still maintain the scene integrity. So you have a choice of flexibility. That's why you're called a voice actor or a voice artist, because it is in you the whole thing lies, how well the scene would be. If you're dubbing for yourself, then you are deciding your fate. If you're dubbing for somebody else, then you're deciding that artist's fate. So that element of fate really plays with the dubbing artist.
So, when you're uh, in the studio and you have to have emotions in just through your voice, there's no body language. How difficult is it? Is it difficult? Is it or because you've come with seasoned years of experience, but initially when you started, how did you manage that?
Yeah, initially it is very difficult to understand the meter of a person and dub. If you, even for yourself, you won't be able to emote immediately. So it takes at least some amount of practice before which you master that element of how to emote without doing much. Because you cannot move about as you do on an acting phase. Even if you are falling, you have to stand there and fall. So it's your mindset which actually makes you emote or fall or rise or do whatever without moving your head from the mic, because the voice would be lost.
Okay.
Let's
Yeah.
say you're dubbing for cartoons. I've talked about it earlier also. When you're dubbing for cartoons, there is no physical loss. They can fall continuously for many minutes. The law of gravity doesn't apply. They can start flying from mid-air. So all those things you have to understand that you're breaking all physical laws. So even your attitude has to be cartoonish. So every character you do, it is the attitude which really matters. If you have the attitude for that particular character, you dub well.
Okay.
And that's the essential need to be a dubbing artist. And the preparation mainly is understanding emotions, your breathing, breath patterns, understanding the environment, understanding the scene. All those things goes with it. Now, after many years of dubbing for others or dubbing for yourself, you will know, oh, this is what I have to do. So your mind actually gets prepared. Roughly, as I would say, a habit is formed in 21 days. So 21 sessions of dubbing would actually make you seasoned and much more easier to dub. Otherwise, a 2 minute or 3 minute can even take an hour's time
Yeah.
before you can dub it.
Any one good and one bad experience that you would have had while dubbing for, let's say, someone else, or for yourself also, as a matter of fact?
For myself, yeah, I'm comfortable dubbing for myself. I know my character, what I've acted, so it is easy for me. Now, there was once I was dubbing a trial for somebody else. So that time, what happened is he's too slim and not so built.
Yeah.
So what happens? The voice has to be thin, I was not able to do it. And I said, no, chuck it. I won't do it because it doesn't match.
Yeah.
There was another time when I was dubbing for a movie called Kurbani, which is yet to be released, if I am not wrong. In Kurbani, I was dubbing for an 83-year-old character. He's 83 years old and I'm 48, so you know the difference. So that aging has to be brought on the voice. So the studio engineer looking at me said, you are going to dub for this person?
Yeah.
I said, let me try. And the way I dubbed, because I liked that character a lot, because it was played by Charu Hasan sir. So dubbing for Charu Hasan sir, it's like a dream come true for me. So a 83-year-old character was given to me. I was able to play justice to it, and I was happy that I could dub it. So good and bad experiences keep happening. The recent ones probably are these two.
And your transition from a radio jockey to a voiceover actor, was it intentional? Was it planned, or it just happened like that?
A radio jock is actually a voice artist. So there was no transition. It's just that I did not want to fit into a fixed frame of work job at that time. In 2018, I stopped. In 2015, I stopped being a radio jock. But still, voiceovers I've been doing. And from 2017 onwards, I've been training people. And I wanted to continue that so that there are more people coming into the voice world. And today, as we had discussed earlier also in other interviews, where we are looking for creating 10 million voices in 165 languages, where the art of voicing is actually taught, trained, and given to people so that it becomes a part of their life.
So, like now you have a curriculum for voice coaching. During your time, did you have something like that, or it was just experiment and trial and error, and that's how it happened?
In my days, when I started off, there was no particular training. I had a mentor. She told me, her name is Kalpana. So Didi taught me how to do the basics, asked me to work on my breath. I didn't understand what it was then. And slowly I started working, and whatever 16 years gave me in the voice world, be it dubbing, be it radio, be it television, be it stage anchoring, all those things have helped me to form the curriculum, because once being on stage as an anchor, being on a radio station as a jock, being a newsreader, being a documentary presenter, being a commercial voice artist, being a dubbing artist, dubbing for yourself, dubbing for other characters, dubbing for cartoons, all these things have helped me evolve as a voice artist. And that is what I have put into the curriculum to the maximum extent, so that people get a best of all the worlds. A little bit from everywhere, that is the base for them to work on. And from then on, they can specialize in what they want. Because what I did not get, I want to give it to the people who want to step into this market.
That's nice. That's very interesting. And you speak about breathwork. We spoke about this earlier also. So, how important is breathwork for a person starting off, or even as a person who's already in this field?
Breath work is what creates your voice. That's the basis. If your breath work is bad, then probably you're doing a bad work as a voice artist. Emotions and your volume, your ability to change your voice, everything works on your breath. So breath work is the basis or the lifeline of voicing. If you're properly breathing, you're doing your breathing exercises and knowing how to control your breath, that gives you that edge of being a good artist. Otherwise, you lose it.
That's interesting. And one last question. Do you ever get tired of it, or are you still with the same or maybe much more energy that you had a few years back?
It is like asking a person, do you enjoy breathing? I'm breathing only when I'm alive. The moment I stop breathing, I'm not alive.
Yeah.
So I breathe more and I voice more. I get that enjoyment from doing my breath work, doing my voices, teaching to new people, seeing their happiness, and knowing that they have understood what the whole concept is all about. What I did not get as a basis or a start off, or what I got from my mentor, Kalpana Didi, what I got from Baku is what I'm giving to the world, plus my 16 years of experience or 17 years of experience. So all the 20 years, when I look back from the time I was in this land as a radio jock, or before another 3 years as a voice artist and dubbing artist, everything comes together in a package for a student who is starting off. So he's starting at 24th year as an artist. He gets that 24 years of experience packaged in the course as a curriculum.
So I would like to say that we are really thankful that you're there, because we need more coaches, and we need people who have practical experience. So thank you for taking your time out. Thank you.
You're welcome.